Okay, so this is the last video that's going to help us to wrap up that sidebar on the right-hand side. And this time we're going to talk about feedback. Now, feedback can actually look different for different students depending on what their teacher actually provides for feedback. But I am enrolled as a student in a course. I'm also enrolled as a teacher. So even I, as a student, so like if you were to have a school-wide course where let's say your principal was the teacher and you were a student, you might also get feedback in Canvas. So for example, we do our mileage in Canvas. So you'll notice I got recent feedback. Hey, Shara, good job. You completed your March mileage. So that's my feedback. It's pretty simple. It's just a complete or incomplete. It's basically dependent on whatever the instructor, how they set it up. Now, let's switch over to the student view to see what they see. Same thing, on this bottom right-hand side, you'll notice that the student receives feedback. This looks a little different, however. You can see that it gives them a score, 15 out of 20, tells them what the course was, what the name of the assignment was, but notice there's a video. So students can select that to hyperlink directly to the feedback that they received, and we're going to do that in 1 minute. The other thing I want to bring your attention to is by default, there is a view grades button here at the bottom, and we're going to get to that here in a second. But let's go and check out this feedback. Now they could just press on my face. They can select the assignment's name. And basically this is taking me into their submission, their feedback space. And I feel like sometimes we need to teach students what this looks like or how to navigate this. So first things first, I can see on the left-hand side, this is what the student actually submitted. So I can actually download that. I can open it. It shows me that his words of affirmation was, I can, I will, I am a rock star. So it tells me what he submitted. I can view the feedback if I were to write on it, like if the teacher were to annotate on top of it, like a paper or something like that, you can see all of the teacher's markings on it. I did a video comment as a demo, so I can pull up. You are a rock star. Great. So if the teacher provides a video comment, which by the way is one of my very favorite things in Canvas, it'll populate there, and it also gives you a timestamp. So that happened today at 3:28 p.m. I can respond back to my teacher if I choose to. The other thing you need to notice is at the very top right-hand side, there is a rubric that was attached to this assignment. So the student can pull that rubric up and they can see how they were scored based on that rubric. For whatever reason, we need to call the teacher. She forgot to grade this last section. I'm a little perplexed. So as a student, that would stress me out. I'd want to make sure that I made sure to message. So I might leave a comment. So I can leave my teacher a comment, and so you'll notice it says Shara Johnson said this, Tommy Pickles said this, so on and so forth. Now we can get to that feedback a couple of different ways. You could have gotten to it in the course as well. Remember, this is course specific. If we go to the dashboard, it's going to be all of their feedback from all their courses. So let's look at the grades though, because sometimes I think, that's great, but it's a little harder to view in my opinion. I like to look at it in the grade space. It's just a little easier. So basically the grades though are going to be all of the grades for that student over the course of a term. So you can see here all the things that they are supposed to do. Obviously I'm not a real teacher in a real class. These are all fake kids. But I have one thing that I submitted. I can see really quick. I got 15 out of 20. Here's the thing you need to pay attention to. This icon indicates that my teacher left me a comment. This icon indicates that I have a rubric. You can actually open those up directly into the grade space, and it's just a little bit easier to look at, in my opinion. I like to look at it in the grade space a little bit. It's just a little flows a little nicer. Yeah, and I can still watch the video here like I did on my dashboard. I can choose to close these different things as well to truncate it a little bit. So I personally like to see everything in one space, but it's completely up to you. And the student also has the ability to arrange those based on however they see fit. Now, you can look at this both ways. You can look at it from the grades page on the dashboard. Also notice this teacher left the grades tab open in the course as well. So you can really get to this place a lot of different ways. And there's a lot of different ways to look at your feedback. So that's going to round out our conversation about this sidebar on the right-hand side. We talked about the to-do list, we talked about coming up for instructors, and we talked about feedback for students. Hopefully that helps, and we will hope to see you in our next video series on the global navigation.